Happy to be back live at you today from British Columbia. And we are still on our March theme of the Big Five series. So today's theme is 5 reasons why your back-end operations are disorganized. And this might be one reason, or it might be a little bit of everything. There's no right or wrong way to organize stuff. So just throwing that out there, okay? Everyone has to kind of have a system that just works for them, and eventually that system will have to transfer to other people. So whether that's your team or some subcontractors that you're hiring, it's helpful to spend some time just thinking about, how to organize your things better in your business, because eventually you're going to want to have help, right? If you're a solopreneur, one woman show, that's fine, and you can function in whatever fashion you want. But in order for you to bring on help and to be able to delegate some of the work, you are going to need to have a system that someone else can also navigate. All right. And you can probably conquer more and do things better just being organized yourself. All right. So today, that's what we're going to focus on: 5 reasons why your back end is disorganized. And I'm going to share a few tips or strategies that you could try to employ to get things just kind of pulled together a little bit better, since we're still kind of pre-season for those of you that are operating this summer, and we're coming up to the end of the season if you are in winter operations. So either way, now is a good time in this little shoulder season to do some housekeeping and tidying up. So hopefully today's session will inspire you to do just that. All right, here we go with reason number 1 as to why your back-end operations are disorganized. Number 1 is that you didn't choose software, but instead the software chose you. Okay, and what I mean by that is that you didn't, or currently do not have, a planned out tech stack. Okay, and a tech stack is just the various software solutions, okay, that it takes to actually have your business function. Okay, so you didn't make an intentional effort in selecting a particular software, perhaps. A thing we see very often in particular is email inbox. Okay, you didn't choose Gmail for a particular reason, or you didn't choose Outlook. You just probably had it already, and so it was familiar, versus actually sitting down to do some research to figure out what was going to be the best bang for your buck, what was going to be scalable or future proofed. Okay, and kind of going with that method. Another piece of software we see people sort of diving into is this sort of reservation or booking software, right? You didn't necessarily chose it, but it chose you. Maybe you got a really good deal, right, from somebody when they reached out to you one time and you said, sure, I'll take that. Or maybe you've kind of inherited some old systems if you've recently purchased a new business. So the software was just sort of there, and it wasn't necessarily an intentional choice. The other thing we see a lot is, your software needs just change and evolve, right? As your business changes and evolves too. So sometimes, this other case is that you are still using software from the business that was, not the business that is you now. Okay. So there are various phases throughout your business's life cycle where you're going to need to retool. Okay. And in the venture space today, retooling is not just gear. That is not a new building, right? It is also your software that helps you run your business every day, helps you serve your clients, and helps you manage money and all those kinds of things. Okay. So that could be one reason why your back end feels disorganized, because you haven't made an intentional plan for what your tech stack could look like, and you haven't been able to select software that would also integrate with each other, so things would just flow and move around a little bit more smoothly. Okay. So if you're in that situation, would love to chat with you, and be able just to brainstorm, maybe where you could make some changes, or where you could look at some filler tools like Zapier, for example, to plug two pieces of software together who don't natively actually sync. Okay. Reason number two why your backend might be disorganized is that you just generally haven't created any method to the madness. Okay. And this is super common, right, for small businesses, because you, in the early stages, those first couple of years, you are making it up as you go. Okay. And that's very normal. But at some point, you do have to create a method for the madness, okay? Because otherwise, it's going to be super hard for you to get help, and it's also just going to become overwhelming, I think, for you day to day, because there's now a volume. And I saw a post on Facebook here the other day, and it said something to the effect of, your business will only scale as big as the problems you can handle, right? So a problem can be finding information for a tour. It can be, when did I make that reservation? Have I booked those bands? Did I get my permit for that thing? And which packs have filled their waiver and which packs haven't? And who's the vegan on this trip again? Right? There is a lot of information that has to be organized for all of you who are delivering trips, tours. Maybe you're managing a boutique hotel. Like, there's a lot of details. So you need a method for your madness. Okay. Part of this is software related, but part of this, it can be simple. Naming files properly. Okay. Don't be lazy. Okay. Every file needs a dedicated name. Okay. In our business, we use acronyms for all of our clients' files. Okay. And so at the beginning of the file, it has the client's acronym. Okay. A PIKE, which is that little straight line, like a capital I, and then the name of the document. Okay. And we use a ton of acronyms. SOP, Standard Operating Procedure, is the preface to every Google Doc in our business that is how you do something in our business. Okay. We use template as a prefix as well in our business when something is meant to be duplicated or made a copy of before you actually start working on that file. Okay. Image naming, for example. Photographers are great at this, but so the rest of us could definitely learn from them, right? Some of them will use date, location, as well as a description of the image, okay? And that's really helpful for your SEO. If you make an effort to put your file names together when you upload the pictures, you don't have to go do it again, okay? So like a lot of things out there, it's actually easier in the long term if you just do it right the first time, okay? And with folders, systems, naming schemes for files and things like that, name it, okay? Write it down. We actually have a doc that is our folder system for Google Drive that's like a tree, and it sort of shows like how the Google Drive is organized. So that way everyone on the team can navigate it in a similar fashion, okay? The naming of files has a guideline for file naming, okay? So that everyone on the team can name the files in the same manner, so that we can use our searches or folder through clicks to find what we need to find. So create a method for the madness in how you organize information. So if that's PAX lists, okay, make sure it's PAX list, trip name, date, or something to that effect, okay, for every single list. If you have trip pricing files, okay, make sure that says trip pricing, this trip, this year, right? Just come up with a consistent method for how things are going to be organized so that you and everyone else on your team in the future or now can also do that the same way with you. I'm just going to click back over here to see if we have any comments coming in, because I see we have a few people watching today. Hello and welcome. I would love to take any questions if you guys have them. And if you're tuning in for the replay too, by the way, you can always drop comments, and myself or Charlotte will get back to you with some information and answers about how you might be able to get better organized inside your business. Reason number 3 is that you haven't taught other people how to use your system, if you have one, or generally how you want it done at all. Okay, this is something that that I see a lot when I first come into you know doing a find your flow package or an owner support package, which is usually I'm spending 40 to 60 hours in the back end of a client's business for 3-month blocks at a time. When I first started with that, the first thing I do is, I request access to all of your little back end bits, and I go in there and I snoop around. Basically, I want to see how things are organized, where you're putting certain documents or folders or file pictures, things like that, just to see, if there is a method to the madness. And quite often there's, some level of method, but we haven't actually, taught others how to do it. Okay. So then what I notice when I come into like a Dropbox, for example, is, one person is putting things over here and then another person is putting things over here. And there's a lot of like duplicate stuff kind of going on. So this is also something that I find frustrates business owners, right? They are working with, someone doing branding. They're working with somebody on their website. They're working with somebody who does their social marketing, who's outside the team. Maybe they have other subcontractors who are helping with their delivery of their services, and everyone's creating their parts somewhere else. Okay, someone's using Google Drive, someone's using Dropbox, somebody's storing files on their computer. Okay, and so then when they're like, I need to see this itinerary for this trip, they don't know where to find it, and then they have to spend time emailing or slacking or texting, right, someone on the team to say, hey, how do I get my hands on this thing? And then it's going to be emailed in again, and you're stuck in your inbox. Okay. So you, as the business owner, you need to say, this is where our office lives. Okay. Whether that's Dropbox, Google Drive, OneDrive, Box, I don't care. Pick one place. Our stuff lives here. And anybody who comes to work inside your business is given access at least to a folder, okay, inside your office that they put the work that they're doing for you inside. Okay. So for example, when we do like our SEO projects, we create a bunch of files that are in Google Drive, for example. And when we're done, right, we email that folder to our clients and we say, here is all your stuff. We recommend that you take this. And if you're using Google Drive, obviously put it in your own drive. But if you're using Dropbox or something, then you'd have to download everything and upload it to Dropbox. Okay, so that you have all your stuff in your place when you're done. Alternately, we ask them to say, create a Dropbox folder for us. So I've done this with clients when I'm creating SOPs. Okay, and I say, create a SOP folder inside your Dropbox and add me as a collaborator. So I can just create everything inside the Dropbox from the very beginning. Okay, that saves you time later, and that saves me time. Okay, nobody has to go download files and upload files. Okay, so just allow people to have access. It can be restricted access, that's fine, but let them have access to your office, which is a dedicated place where everything about your business lives. Okay. Reason number 4 that's related to you haven't taught others how you want it done, which was number 3, is that you didn't record how you did it last time, and now you're doing it differently because your busy brain can't remember what you did do last time, aka you didn't create any SOPs. Okay, so we've talked about the method for the madness, right? And this is like taking it one step further, right? So it's like you have your folder naming system, right? You have your like org chart layout, right? Of how the folder system works. That's great. But you still need SOPs that are going to help people, right, kind of understand how things get done and where things live inside your business. And the SOPs that you create for tasks need to include instructions on how to find what they need to do that task. Okay. So you really do need to make an effort to record what you're doing. Okay. And please notice I said record and not write down. Okay. Because now with technology, you can record how to do things in a variety of ways. So Google has a voice to text function. So if you open a Google Doc on your phone, okay, you can just dictate what you want done and it will write it down for you. Okay, so please start to make use of some of these cool features. The other thing that I would highly recommend that y'all do is get a Loom account. Loom is free. You can record up to 5-minute videos for free forever, okay? Or you can pay less than $10 a month and make unlimited videos and unlimited length recordings. And Loom is basically a desktop recording, okay? And it includes your voiceover. So as you are replying to a customer service inquiry, right before you even open that email, you click the Loom thing, you run it, and then you say, hi, and I do this, Katie here. Today, I'm going to show you how to reply to a customer service inquiry at Peakflow OBM. And then I open the email and I say, this one is from a client. This is what they're asking about. This is where I would go to find the answer. And here is the template I would use to reply to this email. Blah, 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 edit this. Okay, proofread it. Make sure Grammarly is run so all your spelling and grammar is correct, and send. And when you're done with this email, you then go here, click this, move to this folder. I never want to see it in the inbox again unless the client hits reply. Okay? And my Loom video is done. It took me 5 minutes to record it. Not only did I create an SOP, but I actually got back to a client at a customer service inquiry at the same time. Okay? These are the types of tools I want to see you guys using in your businesses so you can start to capture how things get done. Okay? And then as soon as that Loom recording is saved, you go to Loom and you title the video, right? And you call it SOP, how to reply to customer service inquiries in the inbox. Okay? And you make folders in Loom that customer service folder, okay? And you put that video in that folder. And now you've created an SOP. You created a method on how those videos get stored because you've titled it and you put it in the right folder, okay? And now you have a delegatable task that somebody else can do in your business, right? High five. Those are the kinds of wins that I want to see you guys, or steps, or I want to see you guys taking over the next quarter to start capturing how things get done in your business and creating a library of videos using a tool like Loom, or you can use QuickTime if you're on a Mac. PCs might have a screen recording option as well that I'm just not aware of because I don't use one, where it would save it to your hard drive and then you could just upload it to your Dropbox or your Google Drive, okay? And reason number 5, why your back-end operations are disorganized, okay, is that you just don't make time to clean up, or you're not able to delegate cleanup to someone else, okay? And this is something that I think, collectively we all struggle with a little bit, right? When was the last time you went through your iPhone library, your photo library, right? It's been a while, yeah. So your desktop and your download folder on your computer is probably full of shite too, okay? You download stuff all the time. You screenshot things, you save stuff to your desktop. So that's actually something that I do on a almost weekly basis, I would say, is I try to keep my computer super scrubbed clean because we're still running a 2012 MacBook Pro over here. So, got to keep things light in order to keep it fast. But other things, your hard drives, your Google Drive, your Dropbox, right? Your email inbox, you guys, so many people don't delete emails, right? Go through and clean stuff up. Delete emails you don't need, unsubscribe to stuff that isn't relevant to you anymore. Create folders or labels inside your email inbox and start filing things away, okay? Your inbox should never be longer than a page. You shouldn't be clicking through pages in your inbox, okay? It's just not cool. And it's not good for your sanity. It feels work overload all the time when you open an inbox that has 15,000 emails in it. Okay. Foolishness. So please, if you could take 15 minutes a day and just click through stuff and delete things. Okay. One of my favorite features in Gmail is I open an email and then there's a little menu at the top and I can click this. I click the little menu and then I go filter similar emails, right? Or filter similar messages. And I click it and then it pulls in all the messages usually that are from the same email address. Okay. And so then I use that and I go, okay, are these things relevant to me? If there's like a bunch of them and I haven't even opened more than one, they are now no longer relevant and I unsubscribe and I delete them immediately. I don't even read them anymore. Okay. If it's relevant because it's based on a particular trip, it's a client, it's a supplier, okay, then I go create a filter for this thing, right? And I give it a label, okay? And I tell it what to do with those emails, okay? So does this go to the inbox? Does this go immediately into an archive? Does it get immediately moved to a labeled folder? Does it just apply the label but still live in the inbox so I can make sure that I can see it? Okay. Do I mark it as read or unread by default? And those types of filters can be extremely helpful for you guys long term because as you start to label things as they come into your inbox, when you open that email, all you have to do is take off the label inbox and it is now filed away in its corresponding folder and you are done. Okay. It's no longer in your inbox. So please do try to spend some time cleaning things up. So to recap, that is please clean up your inbox. Please clean up your Google Drive, Dropbox, online file storage system. Delete things that are no longer relevant. And if it's important, it needs to live in a dedicated folder. Okay, clean up your desktop and clean up your downloads folder. Ideally, delete as much as possible. Okay. And, clean up your contact lists and stuff as well. Okay. So don't be shy about going into MailChimp or ActiveCampaign or whatever you're using and filtering out people who haven't opened your stuff in the last, 6 months or a year. Get rid of them and fire up some energy to get some new leads coming into your business. Okay. So that is the 5 reasons why your backend operations might be disorganized. And just to recap, 1, right? You didn't choose software chose you. So you didn't make an intentional choice about your software. And if you're feeling software overload, because that's a real thing, for sure, I would love to talk to you. Reason number 2 is that you didn't create a method for the madness. Okay, so I want you to please create a method to the madness. How do things get organized in your business? Where does stuff live? And how do you label or name it? Okay. Please make some effort to teach others how to use your system. Okay. Create videos for them or spend some time with them on Zoom and go through it and get them to be able to find things on their own and have some guidelines on where stuff lives and goes. Please start to create some SOPs and guideline documents to record how you did something, okay? Even when you're doing something for the first time, turn on the Loom video, okay? If you're, building your website for the first time, record a Loom video on editing a page or when you're creating your first trip in Yuli, okay? Run the Loom video and go through everything. Even if that Loom video is 2 hours long, it's okay, right? At least it's done. So the next time you have to go and do it, you at least have a video to reference how you did it the first time. Okay. And then as you get faster, then you can start to make newer, more updated videos. Okay. And number 5, please make time to clean up your old files and your email inbox and your download files and all that kind of stuff. So you just have like a clean space when you open your computer every day to start fresh. Okay. So if you guys have any other tips or things that you'd like to share about how you keep yourself organized or how you avoid the chaos of disorganization, I would love to hear it in the comments below. I'm sure there are all kinds of tips and strategies out there. Those are just a few of mine. And if you have any questions, you can also post them below. Few housekeeping things. We are already the middle of March. What? Yes, I can't believe it either, but here it is. So that means that we are quickly approaching the end of quarter one and the start of quarter two. So what we have decided to do for y'all is put together a quarterly planning session, okay? So I'm going to post a link to that in the comments of this video so that if you'd like to jump in on a quarterly planning session, we will be hosting that April 1st. So if that's of interest to you, 10 a.m., sorry, PST is our quarterly planning session where we're going to review quarter one. How did things go? Are you on track with your goals? Are you starting to fall a little bit behind? How can we regroup a little bit for quarter two, maybe reassess some priorities, and just kind of get recalibrated. Quarter two is our lead up to our peak season in North America, okay, which is when people are full summer and students are out of school and people are traveling. So that's very exciting for this year. So I would love for you to join me in quarter two so that you can feel like you have a solid action plan for your April, May, and June so that you can walk into your busy season feeling organized and feeling like you've got everything done and you are ready to crush it. Because I want you guys for July, August, September to just be focused on delivery, okay? Customer service, right? Getting people out there, hiking, canyoning, paddleboarding, whatever it is that you're doing. You need to be focused on that 110% in quarter three. So quarter two is our last chance to put any final pieces in play to make sure that we are all set up for this season, all right? So that's going to be very exciting. Two other fun announcements, just to keep you in the loop of what's going on, is we are in the process of developing a 3-day automation challenge. So I'm pretty excited about that. That's going to probably happen like mid-April, I'm thinking. Maybe that like second week of April. So stay tuned for details about that. So if you're curious about how to build automations or how that could really help your business from both a marketing and or workflow perspective, I would love to see you there. And our third announcement about just some more stuff that's kind of coming up is I'm working on a sort of group program mentoring thing. We haven't like totally defined exactly what it's going to be called, but essentially it's going to be like a couple $100 a month kind of membership style thing where you can have access to the Peak Flow team for some bi-weekly calls. We're going to give you access to like our big resource vault that we're kind of building. And yeah, that's basically going to be like accountability type of thing. So basically, if you're ready to have some accountability and some guidance to maybe help get you through your first peak season or generally just help you feel like, you know, you're going to get more organized. That's what that membership piece is for, to help give you the tools. And then the bi-weekly meetings are for the accountability and the guidance. And we're going to kind of give you like a framework to work through for 12 months so that you can really get your business either, you know, cleaned up and set up or just set up, you know, on a solid foundation from the beginning if you're kind of newer to things. So that's also in the works. And I don't have a tentative date. I was hoping for April, but we're not quite there yet. So it might be like a May thing for that one. But if you're interested, I'm going to also drop the form that you guys can fill out so you can at least be on the hot list so that if you are ready for accountability and guidance and you would love to, you know, connect with me every couple of weeks to help answer questions or just help you kind of keep moving forward in the back end of your business, you can be the first to know. So that's a lot. And I really appreciate you guys being here. And until next week, I will say bye for now.